Hi, Matt with eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the trailer Valet JXC Jack, and this is going to be the one that actually comes with a footplate and this power drill adapter. Now this is going to be a great replacement for your old Jack because this thing is just a breeze to use. So let's check it out. And you can see this works pretty smoothly. Now let's say you don't want to use a drill or you just don't have one on hand. It is going to come with a handle too, so you can manually crank it up. So that's something nice that is good to have on hand, because that drill, if it does die on you at some point, you can just manually jack it up. A couple things to keep in mind to make sure this is going to be compatible with your trailer. The first one is going to be that tubing. You need to make sure you have a tube opening of at least 2 1/4, so this can actually fit into place. And that your trailer is going to be needing a lift between anywhere from 24 inches to 36 inches. And then the last thing is if this is going to be strong enough for your trailer. So there's going to be 2 different variations of this. One's going to be rated for a support of 2,000 pounds. Another one's going to be rated for a support of 5,000 pounds. But other than that, they're going to be pretty much the exact same. But let's focus a little bit on what it's going to be like to actually use. Now with the drill, of course, it's going to be easy, but with the manual style, this still feels super smooth. And I'm getting a decent amount of travel just going at this regular pace here. Now there are a couple of things to keep in mind when you are turning it. Sometimes I do find that this rubber part here will kind of slide up on me. But all you have to do for that is just push it back into place. I do like this because it is a little more comfortable to grab than a hard plastic handle. So it's going to feel good on your hands. And the whole thing is just built really well. That's something that's nice about Trailer Valet. Older stuff is well constructed with this pretty thick powder coat on it. So it's going to look nice over time as well. Now here on the bottom half, we're going to have that inner tubing that will lead right into your footplate. And this is going to be a fairly wide footplate. Pretty standard out there. Now what I do like about it though is we do have just a simple pin and clip system, so if you ever did want to replace it, you could easily do that. So something I do appreciate with this, and it's a common question people have, is if it is going to work with their trailer. We do have multiple sets of holes on here. Most jacks out there will only have one set. So if you only have a one set of holes on your trailer, it might not be compatible with any other jack out there. This definitely raises those chances though. And something that I really enjoy about this jack is it's going to be really easy to put on here, so you don't have to worry about any welding. All it is a bolt-on installation. But I can actually show you that now. Alright, so to begin our installation, we're going to make sure that we do have our trailer chocked, so we're working on this nice and safe, and we have it lifted up. Now, there's a couple ways you could do that. You could either have some jack stands underneath here. Today I'm just using this little side frame jack to hold it up in place. Or you could simply just have your vehicle backed up over here to have it lifted up. And we already have our old jack removed, and now we can put this one on. And to start that off, all I'm going to do is remove this pin on our foot, just like that. Put that off to the side. And now I just had to put this through this inner tubing, like so. And from here, I'm just going to line up the holes that match our bracket here. So you are going to get some hardware with this kit. Now you won't get a nut with it. So if you already have some pre-threaded holes, that's going to be good for this. If you don't, like me, instead I'm going to use my own hardware. The biggest thing to check with this is if it's going to fit through this hole. Mine today is just barely going to fit through there. And I'm going to have a nut that goes on the underside of it. That should cinch it down. You're going to need to make sure you do have 3 pieces of hardware so you can hold this jack into place. And now we're just going to put the nuts on the bottom here. It might be a little bit different for you just depending on how your trailer is set up. With all 3 of these in place now, I'm going to tighten it down. It might look a little bit different for you since we are trying to work around the actual frame of the trailer. So however you can get it, just make sure you're able to get that torque down to the specs. Now all bolts are going to have different specs. What I recommend doing is just finding out what grade bolt you have, the thread pattern, and you can actually look that up online to make sure you can find that proper torque setting for them. And really all we have to do at this point is put this foot plate back on, make sure you still have that pin, and clip it into place. Now I'm just going to lower it down, make sure it's going to feel good. But other than that, that'll do it for our installation. And of course, if you guys have any other questions, please let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.